This is Eagle Owl, and today I will be talking about the Eagles. Are we dysfunctional for basically firing Sean Desai, or are we smart for hiring Matt Patricia to call the plays? Also, the Eagles have officially clinched the playoff spot, so we're in. No matter what, we're in the playoffs. And lastly, we got to beat Seattle, but let's get straight into it. All right. So let's get straight into the topics, man. Matt Patricia will be calling the plays. They say technically Sean Desai is still the defensive coordinator, but Matt Patricia will be running this defense. I like the move. I like it. You bring in a vet guy, or not even bring him in. He's already in the building. You sick of Sean Desai. There's a report out there floating around that there've been a lot of finger pointing. It's like, no, it's these players, or it's the coach, it's this, it's that. And the Eagles was like, you know what? We're going to sit you out, let you go up to the box, and we're going to have another guy call the play. This is my theory of what's been going on with the Eagles, right? It's my theory. I believe they were splitting the play calls, Matt Patricia and Sean Desai. Complete theory, didn't hear this from anybody else. Now we look at the first half and we're like, yo, the defense look trash. What's going on? Then the second half, we just look like a totally different defense. I'm predicting that the first half, if it don't come out after the season, a report, the first half was really Sean Desai to see what he got. Then the second half was more of Matt Patricia to see what he got. I know I was watching Philly Mike live yesterday, and he mentioned something from Honest NFL. A lot of Eagles content creators follow him on Twitter, and he was breaking down the defense against the Kansas City Chiefs, where we had one of our best games. And he was saying that, like, yo, this looked like more of a Bill Belichick defense than a Vic Fangio defense. It looked like the Eagles was like, you know what? We sick of it. We're done. We're just going to go with Matt Patricia. But that's just a theory of mine. I believe Matt Patricia was calling the second half plays and Sean Desai was calling the first half plays. I didn't know it was going to be this big split between the fan bases saying, oh, it should have been Brian Johnson. But when you look at Brian Johnson numbers and when you look at the offense, they almost top 10 in every good category besides turnovers. Because what can Brian Johnson do if Jalen Hurts is fumbling the ball? What can Brian Johnson do if AJ and Devontae Smith is fumbling the ball? Or honestly, if the head coach is preaching go to your main guys and there's other guys just wide open, what can Brian Johnson do about that? And if Nick Sirianni is basically coming up with the game plan and just limited Brian Johnson, what can he do? Whereas though Sean Desai, he got free range and it's not looking good. And this is not nothing new from the Eagles, because I believe if Jonathan Gannon looked this bad last season, they would have did the same thing with Vic Fangio. Remember, Vic Fangio was basically promised a job because we knew Jonathan Gannon was going to go somewhere else regardless. But then, you know, the lie and this and that, and Vic Fangio ended up going to Miami. We know how that story goes. But I think the Eagles went in with that same mindset. Like, look, Sean decided on playing out. We got Matt Patricia in our back pocket. Now, the only thing that made me mad, even if we watch my old videos about Matt Patricia, is that he was the head coach of the Lions and he failed miserably, and him and Darius Slay did not get along. Just ironically, Matt Patricia is calling the plays and Darius Slay decided to get his knee clean. Is it because he went through the gauntlet and there was time, because we know Darius Slay been on the injury report for a while with the knee? Or he's like, you know what? I don't really like this guy. Let me just go ahead and do this now so I can miss some time. Then I'll be back. And I don't know. Maybe that was the case. But that was my only thing with Matt Patricia. I can't knock what he did in New England as a defensive coordinator. You know, Chris Long even brought it up. Like, yo, this was a good contingency plan. He said, yo, when Matt Patricia was our defensive coordinator, teams were averaging 16 points a game against us. So he's not a slouch defensive coordinator at all. He was a slouch head coach, but defensive coordinator, he was really good. Really good. But for them to change it up this late in the season, yeah, there was some conflicts because you got to think it starts slipping through the cracks. Even with the little Darius Slay thing, well, my stats were good. The team played like, you know what? And then Kevin Byers was like, yo, we're not being put in the right positions. He's calling out Sean Desai. So when it starts slipping through the media like that, when they say there's smoke, there's fire, that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. But let's talk about us clinching the playoffs, man. Dallas Cowboys get destroyed. So they got destroyed. So they back at the 5th seed, I believe. And Eagles are back at the 2nd seed. Even though we had control of our own destiny anyway, and we still do. So we went out, this basically the 2nd seed is ours if the 49ers went out. But what I think is going to happen, I believe the 49ers are going to slip up. Even the 49ers helped us today because of their win. We're in the playoffs, and because of the Cowboys' loss, we're in the playoffs. But they're going to slip up. I'm not sure if it's going to be against Baltimore. One of those games, they're going to lose one. I believe we have a higher chance of winning out. I do. And getting that 1st seed. But it's just good that we are in. So we got that comfortability of knowing that we're in. Even though I had no doubt in my mind, 10 wins on the NFC get you in the playoffs because Falcons, all that NFC South is just trash. The NFC North trash. Like we knew. So shout out to the Cowboys getting destroyed and the 49ers actually winning. So yeah, shout out to them. All right, so let's talk about the Seahawks game a little bit. We got to beat the Seahawks, man. First is that I want that 1st seed. It's still a shot. We got to go out there and beat the Seahawks. First thing we got to do, let's get to the defensive side of the ball. Got to slow down DK Metcalf. They're going to feed him. No Darius Slay. They're going to look at it like, man, Ringo or Bradbury, they straight food. So we got to find some way playing around of stopping DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and GSM. We got to figure something out. But the guy I'm really worried about is DK Metcalf. I don't care if it's Drew Lock. Even if I was a quarterback, I'm like, man, let me just throw it up to DK, see what he got. And he hate the Eagles and in Seattle. So I'm worried about that. But I will say this, Keely Ringo's size and athleticism can match up. But man, DK is just different. He really is. When he gets opportunity, he is different. So we got to find a way to stop him. Second thing, man, I'm gonna go to the offense a little bit. Just protect the ball. Got to protect the ball. Jalen Hurts, I know he's questionable, but knowing Jalen Hurts, if it was Sunday, I was like, man, I don't know. But because he got an extra day, it sounds like it could be like a bug or something. And you give him an extra day, give him a cup of tea, all this and all that good stuff. He will play for sure. I believe Jalen Hurts is going to play. But again, don't turn the ball over. Jalen Hurts, we need a clean game. We don't need lost fumbles and interceptions from anybody. With the fumbles, we need a clean game. We need to start fast too. I always forget to say that. Start fast. I mean, it's simple things that can win this game. Start fast. Put up points. Defensive side is a little bit more difficult, especially with the coaching changes. Not sure how big of a change it's going to be. But slowing down that wide receiver core, that's hard. It's very hard. But the offensive side, you got to find a way, establish the run. You want to keep the Eagles defense off the field as long as you can. As long as you can, keep them off the field. Because if they're on the field too much, Drew Lock or Geno Smith, whoever's playing, can heat up, especially with a weak secondary, and then make the defense one-dimensional. And they could just do multiple things, run the ball, play action, all that good stuff. To avoid that from happening, offense got to protect the ball and long sustaining drives. That's how we beat the Seahawks. We beat them. Let's get on the roll. We could beat the Giants. We could beat the Cardinals, and we could beat the Giants. But the roll starts now. Going to the playoffs hot. I believe 49ers fall. They're going to lose a game. Then we could get that first seed, man. But we got to handle our food. But hey, man, what do you think? How do you feel about the news today? Are the Eagles dysfunctional, as everybody's saying? Or are we smart? I think we're smart. Also, clinching a playoff spot, man. Shout out to Dallas. I got to give them a huge shout out for doing that. Getting that L. You know they can't win outside of Dallas. And how do we beat Seattle? But this is Eagle Owl, man.